6:52, time for the morning sprint.
We start with breaking news this morning. A big announcement from the White House. President Biden officially announcing his bid for re-election with the video released at 5 a.m. In it, he says the country faces the question of whether in the years ahead we have more or less freedoms. The announcement comes as a recent NBC News poll shows 70% of Americans don't want him to run for president. Back home, a big day at Truex Field as the first new jet fighters arrive in Madison. The Wisconsin Air National Guard will be welcoming its first of 20 F-35s. The jets aren't expected to come all at once, but layered over the next year.
Sun Prairie residents and parents of students in the district speaking out publicly for the first time at last night's school board meeting. It comes after an incident in the Sun Prairie East High School girls' locker room that has gained some national attention. Administrators haven't released information, but conservative law group WILL said that a transgender student was fully unclothed, showering with 4 freshman girls. The district did say the incident was not in line with district practices and offered support to those involved.
Governor Evers is joining school administrators today on the UW campus for a groundbreaking of a new computer data and information sciences building. The $260 million project is aimed at boosting the state's economy and tech jobs. We give you a peek inside over on channel3000.com.
Areas along the Wisconsin River dip below flood stage today, but Mississippi River towns are preparing for the worst. In Prairie du Chien, nearly 16,000 sandbags have been donated by the correctional facility and the entire PDC high school. It took off classes to help sandbag. The footage you see here is folks in Fountain City, just north of La Crosse, as they too help in ankle-high water.
Wild video out of Wauwatosa where a freight train hit a FedEx truck. Look at that. You can see what's left of the FedEx truck on the side of the tracks there. Police say despite the damage, the driver only suffered minor injuries and no one on the train was hurt. A new poll from a Republican firm this morning shows Florida Governor Ron DeSantis leads former President Trump among Wisconsin voters. DeSantis and President Biden are tied at 45% in a potential 2024 matchup. The president holds a 47-43 lead over Trump in that rematch.
Dozens of U.S. citizens still trapped in Sudan as a 3-day ceasefire has been declared by the country's opposing sides. The truce has been brokered by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia in an attempt to pull the third largest nation in Africa away from more conflict. However, in the Sudanese capital of Khartoum, witnesses say gunfire and explosions continue yet this morning. Another light show for Wisconsin. A glimpse of the Northern Lights here this week. Some of the viewer photos have just been astonishing. Showing off the purple and the green. You can find all of our photos at channel3000.com. And if you'd like to share some more, you can always email them to tips@channel3000.com.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah, 5 minutes away from straight up at 7 o'clock now, and we are looking at a little bit of light rain that has basically moved out of our area now, just south of Janesville toward Beloit. A little bit of wet roads here in the Madison area. Some of the sidewalks might be a little bit muddy. 37 right now in Madison, 34 in the Dalles, 37 in Janesville, so another cool morning. Got the clouds now. We are seeing some clearing off to our west. Might see some of that sunshine come our way as we go into the late morning, early afternoon hours. We'll call it variably cloudy, but rather cool with this northeast wind, keeping temperatures only at 50 degrees for an afternoon high, considering we should be typically in the low 60s this time of the year. But that northeast wind will be up there around 10 miles per hour at times. A little bit of sun here and there going into the afternoon as we get up close to 50. First warm forecast. Another cool day tomorrow, a little bit more sunshine, 55. Then we do warm it up. It looks like by Thursday and Fridays we get into the mid-60s. That's due to some southerly winds that'll develop. But unfortunately, we've got another system, kind of like what we saw last weekend. An upper level low is going to move on in for the weekend. That'll bring us some cool weather, along with that some rainy weather for both Saturday, Sunday. It looks like it'll continue to Monday and Tuesday of next week. Hopefully we can get over that hump and get into some 60s where we should be by the middle part of next week.
Sounds lovely.
60s and 70s maybe.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're back in half an hour.